already crashed during the intro. Now you see why I do those, where I let it run for a couple minutes first. I'm no train wrecks though. He used to leave it for like 45 minutes on his like title screen starting soon, but he would actually go live and there'd be people actually still sitting there. So today we just want to wrap up a loose end that I actually forgot to do in Duratar because I thought I was done with it. So now we'll leave the Barrens for the second time. And what I haven't done as well here is I've tried to pose it sort of in RP when it's like, oh, I get to sleep here for the night, because that's like a condition. We have to keep finding a different place to sleep. So I guess the exchange here isn't that we're doing a quest for this guy, but we just got to play with his kid. So he appreciates the company and he doesn't see it very often. And we get to, we moved the pet there, but now he won't move. Did we bug him out? He's on follow. Oh, he just kind of teleported to me. I didn't know he had that ability. Yeah, we're using this dinky level 5 green two-handed axe, but surprisingly, it's our first two-handed weapon ever so far. But surprisingly, we're doing okay. Like, I know it shouldn't be like that hard at the early levels, but we'll basically fight our way to the crossroads, but I won't actually do stuff in the crossroads still yet. Some of these pets would be pretty underwhelming to have, like a zebra or like a plains rider, although a wolf is pretty basic. You don't really think of this as a silver pine undead area type of thing either. This is like, you know, this looks like the wolf that you would get as a mount as an orc. So that would be kind of an overlap if we end up getting somehow if we got the wolf instead of the raptor. And I did get level 40 mounts on my other permanent characters, but I don't know why it seems like money is so hard to come by here. I would skip spells then too, but I guess it wasn't because of a condition like, oh, I don't get to learn the spells because, what do you call it? Just, you know, we can't use ranged abilities anyway. There was no such condition there. I could use whatever I wanted, but I couldn't really afford them even just in and of themselves. Like, what's the point in learning, what's like a useless ability like taunt on my warrior? Like, why? What am I taunting? I'm the only guy there anyway. It's a solo run. So, I don't know. You can definitely save a lot of money that way, but then people would make fun and say that too, like, oh, you're cheating, you should have to learn every spell, even though you know you're not going to use it. So here you're playing to that more, like, yeah, I'm totally degenerately cheating. It makes it easier that I get to save money by not learning marksmanship abilities, rather than not being able to use them in the first place. Like, that doesn't make it harder. Yeah, I forgot this one place. Look how small it makes Duratar look compared to the Barrens. Like, it's just such an insanely large zone. Ripe with trolls in more ways than one, but you know, that was a great reason to come to. I feel like some people probably still don't think of it like that. They just take it for granted. Oh, those silly horde players in the Barrens. But it's because it's such a big zone, and it's because it requires all three races to come to one spot to level, because Taurens don't really get their own. Which is also why people say like, oh, the horde areas and stuff were unfinished. Kalimdor in particular, people feel like was underdeveloped, underdesigned. They kind of just threw stuff together at the end. But I mean, if this is underdesigned, I'm still impressed. It's just, you know, I didn't really play the horde stuff as much. And you think of Kalimdor as basically just the horde continent, because Night Elves are just the outliers, and they're so far, I mean, they really make themselves feel like they don't even belong here, because even their capital is just totally off the map. Like, at least the undead have their own, like, this whole part feels like just the undead area, so they have like their own continent to themselves, whereas Night Elves get this dinky little island. Yeah, I'm surprised I'm doing so well even with just a level 5 weapon. That almost doesn't make sense at all. So the RP theme of today is loose ends are a cardinal sin for any hunter, because they're either prey that you wasted or left stranded, or potential predators will come back to haunt you later. So that's kind of a good philosophy, that we could have like a flashback in our head of our parents telling us that, or somebody telling us that. So the tracking, I haven't really messed with in a while. I keep forgetting maybe some of my other conditions that I was trying to have. So this stuff should go to waste, which means I should just burn it like in a fire, right? Anytime food should spoil. Although I guess I haven't really done that with fish as much. Like, well, it doesn't matter though for my, well, actually it should matter. Everything should have an expiration date. We need an add-on like to track that. I was so worried my pet maybe got stuck there for a second. Yeah, we have eyes of the beast and stuff, so you can certainly scout ahead for us. So this cave was kind of a cool thing, because on one hand I didn't even know it was there, and on the other hand, Yeah, you could play the game for literally thousands of hours and still not know because it's not marked or anything. I only noticed it because of my tracking. Yeah, we're like 15 episodes in and we'll still be in Duratar, but at least I've gone back and forth. I've been to Silver Pine, I've been to Tourist Fall. What was I saying? Yeah, if we get a wolf mount, our wolf will get jealous. Or if we get a raptor, we'll still be traumatized. I heard you like wolves, so I ride my wolf and get off it so I can call my wolf, or vice versa. I call my wolf so I can ride my wolf while it follows behind, and it goes just as fast anyway. Because your pets just illogically can go whatever the speed your mount is. But no, with respect to this cave, it was sort of a reflective moment. We had lost our pet, and all the minions in this cave have pets, like Voidwalkers and stuff, so there were like 3 together, which might still be hard to deal with. We do have this stun bomb now, which almost feels a little bit overpowered, but it's a good interrupt capability we have. We took care of Fizzle Darkstorm, who was like our most wanted in this playthrough, just somebody who clowned us so badly before. Or like Maud, we got to go back and get Maud when we go to... Even though we were like way higher, we're way higher level now. You might think, oh, my axe postulation is, oh, it's easy just because you have, you're finding lower level stuff. But even when I wasn't, and I have like a level 5 one-handed green axe, we were still kind of getting away with it. So maybe I overestimate how hard it is in the early going, but as you go on, they're going to expect that you have like stuff from dungeons and whatnot. So even the single player leveling experience will get more difficult. Or if I keep trying to take all these risks. What's a young hunter like you out visiting an old farmer like me? I don't think we ever slept in that one, but I guess I kind of consider that part of Razor Hill. I guess I could sleep there today because it's going to be another short episode. Let's just do this one cave. Maybe I'll have to combine 2 of them into one because I don't like them to be this short. I don't know what else I wanted to do, like just some stuff in the let's do like the beginning part of the Barrens if I could. I'm kind of stunned that even aggro's. Like, how? Level 7, I guess my pet sort of bumped into it. Yeah, this top end damage is actually pretty good because there's no reason why you'd want to dual wield. I don't even understand actually why. Right? Because if you're going to do Mongoose Bite and Raptor Strike, they're both going to factor in weapon damage. Increases weapon damage, increases 25. That actually does an underwhelming amount of damage, to be fair. So these are super low level, but the fact of the matter is that it's not going to help me much because there's going to be like 6 enemies at once you have to fight, which is utterly ridiculous. This is the real dungeon of Duratar, not fucking RFC. I could use my trap, but I almost don't even need to. So now we can kind of bask in the glory of this epic 2-hander that we have, which isn't even that good, but the best we have. It's nice to at least have one, period. And I had it for a while, but I just didn't. I had it in my bank, and I was halfway across the world. So next time we go there, we can also check out. Okay, so this is another rule that's very intrinsic to the ability I have. You're not allowed to use Mongoose Bite on the next target if you dodge the current target. So like if you dodge there, I wouldn't be able to carry it over. It's not an honorable thing to do. And so even if we die because of it, that's just how we are. And it makes our crit chance seem a lot higher than what it is, but it's actually garbage, 4%. And even our weapon skill isn't maxed out. But the reason why is obviously because of this amazing ability called Savage Strikes. So it makes up for how bad you are as a melee hunter by actually giving you like a 25% to 30% base crit chance with it. So that actually makes it decent. Guys kind of hiding in the corner. So this place was a little bit scary actually before. This was the episode where Fern was asking me so in such good detail, like what is this game about? Nice chess update. Like I'll end up becoming more known for chess than anything else, but that's kind of sad because normally I like to do the pet versus pet stuff. So like if it's a 2v2, you send the pet at their pet and then you try to take on the actual summoner themselves. This seems fair, but ordinarily I never like the pet to tank for me. That's only because there's too much stuff at once. He's gonna get hungry at some point, although he might not. This is like a snack-sized, bite-sized session anyway. I never understood how people could do that. Like they'll upload a YouTube series, but it'll be like 10-20 minutes per episode. You'd have to do like 1,000. Like I'm always about the long form. You have to do something like super thorough. We already get a dodge, so that proves that it's from this one. Yeah, I'm not that impressed by the damage of Mongoose Bite yet. Only because he cleaned what's on his plate, so I won't even force him to attack this because I should be able to take care of mine. Like, never mind the crit thing. It doesn't do that much more than we killed that elite in the other cave too. I forget which one that was. Oh, that's the one at the top by the coast. I forget the name of it. The Skulls or something? Skull Rock. Yeah, it only does 4 more, which seems utterly ridiculous. I'm sure it'll get better because, you know, the fact that it relies on mitigation means that I always do wing clip just for the heck of it in case they do run away. Yeah, this was the room that scared me, and it's probably going to continue to do that. I don't really trust my... Yeah, I can't wait till we get counterattack. We would have been able to do that too. We got both mitigations in one fight. And so our parry chance is going to be pretty constant at around 10%, although it keeps fluctuating for some reason, I guess, as you level up. But we're never going to get any from gear and stuff. So by the time you hit 60, it'll go from 10% to 5% because you'll only have it from the talent and you're not going to have parry gear. So it's actually a bad thing. Dodge is kind of the same thing, like where it's not going to go up over time. It might even go down over time because, yes, you'll get more agility, but it also expects you to have more agility. And it's not like this run is super... Look at how stupid that targeting is. You know, the one thing I forgot to do that maybe I don't want to test right now is, like, I wanted Hunter's Mark to be the required way. Wasn't there a room full of, like, Voidwalkers? Or maybe it was just these? Oh, maybe these were the 3 I was talking about. But either way, it was sort of making us reflect on our pet. Like, aren't you jealous of all these people with pets after my pet had just run away? The raptor at the... fortress or whatever at Terragard Keep. We were kind of mourning over that, and then we're faced with our very existential kind of thing that you go into a cave with nothing but those with pets in them. That is kind of a cool natural thing that occurred, rubbing it in our face. I guess they weren't Voidwalkers, so I had nothing to fear. But I was right about them being like 3 of them. So imagine how hard this would be to do. And they didn't even aggro together, so maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. It always targets the wrong one, so I feel like you kind of have to click. Those parries are always teasing me. Yeah, I kind of let my pet take a break when you... I'm not really seeing Mongoose Bite crit that much, though. Really? So we came all the way back here just to do this? There's nothing even here. What is that hole for? Makes it seem like there's actually something there. What, you do all that for like a mining node, basically? Or like, what, they respawn that fast? Or is there some other layer to this that I'm missing? I love all the random stuff that can catch you off guard, though. Like, we're walking into that Skull Rock, and there's a random level 11 elite just, like, right in front of us, which, at my point, doesn't matter. And I even went out of my way to kill it, but what if you were actually level 10, 11? I don't know. Like, what, am I just supposed to expect that around every corner? That was so random. Pretty shitty dot, almost as bad as Serpent Sting, probably. The respawns are pretty damn fast. In fact, I'm so confused as to how that even happened. It seems like Raptor Strike is our main source of damage above... I thought Mongoose Bite would be a little better because we are getting the procs for it. How did those 2 respawn if nothing else did? Oh, they did. We're getting like the Encourage music now. Single player dungeon experience to die for. Yeah, see, it always targets the wrong thing. So what I wanted to mess around with was this pet macro, just to sort of see what it's going to be like as far as... When did I come here the first time? I was sort of over-leveled even then, but not really that much. So yeah, we just wanted to see what was in there. I can't believe I forgot to do it, because I even said I would do that as part of last time. We want to make like a pet macro that allows us to have pet attack tied to Hunter's Mark as well. So that'll make it make sense. So there is no command that's just control 1 attack. It's only if you Hunter's Mark, and so you would almost need a way to... stop it, that you would be allowed to do. Right, you can get it to stop attacking, but to start attacking you have to commit the mana, and it sort of gives purpose to that ability. So let's look for general macros. Let's look for Hunter's Mark icon, which I probably won't be able to find. I forget how these are actually organized. right there. Pet attack. You could do like cast, hunter's mark, and then I forget how you do this. Like it could just be pet attack. I genuinely don't even know. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. So it does both together. And so you don't even need that one. So it's sort of justifying the way that you go about doing it. So everything will be marked, even if that seems kind of weird. Like, oh, you're not even a ranged character, so why should you do that? And then our pet will be using range, but it'll be some kind of magic. If we get like a... I forget what those things are called. Like in the Wailing Caverns and stuff, I'll go there at level 40 and have it catch up. They're like those little serpent things that shoot at you. Poison and stuff. So we can sell a bunch of stuff here. It's nice to be back here. We're almost up to their level, so they respect us now. How long has it really been in terms of playtime? Because it doesn't seem like... Yeah, it's only one day, but it just feels like a long time because I mean, even that some people would say is a long time, but... They've been sort of like little bite-sized sessions. Is there something I could maybe learn here?
What are you looking for?
Rough boomstick, which we just oppose fundamentally. So we're not doing that because, oh, we missed it. We're doing it because we just disagree with the use of ranged weapons. And we were traumatized by their use in the past. So we could... No, we should save these actually to be able to make more bombs with it. Like, you need linen for the one that I'm using now, the rough copper bomb. I always forget about. So these two I should destroy, just like act like they're spoiled. I won't worry about it with the fish as much, but arguably that's the same thing. And then this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Yeah, let's actually do some stuff, comb the outskirts of the Barrens and work our way to the crossroads. Yeah, that's the only way I should be able to attack with the pet now. So it will actually take mana. So if I'm completely then I'm not allowed to do it, for example. Is that like a Diablo crossover pet? Way to ruin my immersion. That shouldn't be part of the game. We need like a big fire, which is kind of surprising they wouldn't have one here. Whatever. I'm sure I'll find one on the way, and I'm sure we'll get plenty of meat on the way too. Yeah, I'm not even really doing any particular quest. Let's see what we were obligated to do. Go to the crossroads or follow the western road. At the crossing roads within the crossroads, but I'm only level 18, and so this could be still like a 15 quest. I guess it's more tuned towards like 10 to 12 or something, but we got this probably like when we first got to the Razor Hill at like level 8. But you could think it still could be green. Bring it to the altar of fire before the stone expires, then return to him. Grab a flawed power stone. Bring it to the altar of fire. The demon seed is a powerful tool for the Burning Legion. It rests in a cave on Dread Mist Peak above a demonic altar of fire. I prepared power stones. When placed near the seed, it will disrupt its connection to the Legion. Take a stone from the table and bring it to the altar of fire atop Dread Mist Peak. Travel west, then north, where the road forks. The peak will be to your left. The safest climb to the top is its northern face. Maybe I should find that first and then do it, or I should try to just wing it. Because, like, failing quests is almost not allowable. And I don't... No, I think maybe I already did fail one somehow just for, like, not having space or something stupid, but... that could be a permanent condition, too. 100%. Not only do every quest that you can do within reason, obviously, that doesn't require a group and stuff, but also you're not allowed to fail them, like my GTA 4 thing. You arguably should be able to use these, but that almost makes it too easy. I mean... It makes sense that you should be able to. So you kind of, this is my only way to destroy stuff. I'm not allowed to, or I mean, I could just dump it into the ultimate storage device here, just feed it to him. But no, I'm not allowed to just drop it like in thin air, let's say. So let's see what the outer area, it can get a little scary here because you end up, not only are they really high levels, like 17s and 18 little hyenas, but you also get a case where you can stumble into Ashendale and get killed by like some level 20 plus spider, which is actually something that happened to my original hunter, I think, when I was playing the game for the first time. Like, I made an orc hunter and I got to like level 20 something, but somewhere along the line I did that, where I was just like, oh, what's over here past the bridge going into Orgrimmar? It couldn't be something so high level. And of course, it's one of those clear separation of biomes. It goes from barren desert to just a lush forest, Ashenvale. I mean, I'm almost high enough level where I could do that. I just don't know where he's talking about with that. And I don't want to fail it because of that. Nobody says we have to do it right away. I can find it first and then do it. Let's actually just sort of comb the river. Or like, I'm pretty sure I talked to everybody here. Demon Seed still exists. I can sense its power. Yeah, I didn't even pick that up. Flawed Power Stones. Or like they could be expiring as I... No, I'm sure it wouldn't start until I pick them up. You should almost be obligated just to do that, though, to earn your keep here. So let's read his instruction. You're gonna have to fight some crazy elite there, even though it doesn't say anything. You know, it's not green or orange. What does that sound? Oh, that is the stone itself. Fallen stone, bring it to the altar of fire. Demon Seed is a powerful thing. Demonic altar. Bring it to the altar. Travel west. Okay, so travel west. Wait. But west, who's west? It's his west. That's even confusing too. The way that he's saying it is travel west, but my west would be there. It's not there. It's somewhere there. Whatever, I'll go look for it. I don't want to fail it because of that. But just in an RP sense, you know, I can't decide. I'm going to assume it's somewhere here. The easiest way to go is the north face. Are we going to fail our completionist run? These flawed stones are infused with magical energy, but purposely flawed. They are very unstable once removed from the table, quickly consume themselves quickly. I don't know how to read, apparently. 30 minutes placed upon the altar of fire. So now I can't do my usual dicking around of just taking everything super slowly. But 30 minutes is a long time. I've prepared power stones, so what does he say? Go west, then north, when the road forks. I mean, isn't this... Is this the fork, or does he mean even further that way? The best way, safest way is climb atop its northern face. It's like one of these, I'm sure. But in before, it's like totally on the other side of the map. Like, the way they say things is sometimes super unclear, but I guess it's fair because, you know, that's old school RPG aspects that they're trying to... Okay, I don't think it's this, but it could be that... I remember doing something like this too, but I maybe did it as Alliance. I just kind of dicked around and jumped off of there on my mage because I always loved abusing slow fall. I mean, that looks like it could be it, but the problem is there's no way to actually get on it. It doesn't seem like this would be it. We better not fail within this 30-minute time frame. It could be up there. It could be over there. Why do I feel like it's just at the very edge? So he said go till the road forks and then go north. Oh, he means like, okay, go here, then go north. Which still doesn't tell me anything about it, really. Like, okay, there's plenty of mountains. What am I supposed to... It could be that. Gotta watch out a little bit. They're gonna get a little higher level. The Camp Tarajo stuff kind of scares you. Still traumatized by the whole loss of the raptor, even though it didn't die. He said go north, go to the road, go west, and then go north. Or he's saying go west, like in terms of the map. Go west from here, then go north. And the best way to go up is from its northern face, I guess. Whether it be safest or just most convenient. So it could be this one. This one seems almost too big, but there's like some sort of Mulgore Torrent wall jump hacks that I remember seeing people do so much, but I'm not a Torrent. I guess maybe Torrent are just better at it somehow, or is that just like a placebo effect? I feel like I would always see them do it. We're so at one with nature that only a druid could go through all this without having constant amounts of combat, but never mind the fact that, like, is it actually going to be this? I have no idea. He said the easiest way is the northern peak, or the northern face. That's his favorite clothing company, North Face, Like, I'm going to end up getting to a place where I'm going to get stuck or something, and then I have to jump off. Like, even though I'm an engineer, it's not like I have any parachute or crazy stuff that's going to save us from some scenario like that, where I just... Oh, boy. It almost seems like you're meant to do this, but some kind of fall damage could do me in. I feel like this is right, but... Or my pet's going to somehow fall off of something and actually die. Like, doesn't this almost seem like it's not meant for you to do this? But I mean, the fact that there's enemies here. Yeah, the safest path, by the way, by which I mean there'll be random enemies and raptors. Like, there doesn't seem to be an enemy anywhere near this, but speaking of facing our previous loss of our... that at least lets you know it is something you're meant to do, but... we already had to face that everyone else had pets but me, like in that cave, and now we have to face our raptor demons more directly. So is this even the right thing, or is just some random raptor haven? Let me guess, it's not gonna be... oh, the other mountain, of course. It'll be some other one. It doesn't say that it's... it'd go from the northern phase. Okay, now I'm confused and I'm going to be running out of time. Where he does actually call for help successfully. I mean, even if you're going to get a raptor, maybe these ones are better anyway. I'm taking a pretty decent amount of damage, but I'm also doing a lot better damage than you would expect with a level 5 green piece of garbage. What am I exactly even supposed to do? Place upon the altar of fire, which is not... seemingly here. Right, I keep doing that the wrong way too because I'm so used to it. Look at how low my health is getting, but I feel somehow comfortable because my damage is actually decent now. Oh! What the fuck is going on? Just don't despawn the pet or anything. We can go like this. Of course, the fact that they call for help is very impressive, but I don't even think that's the right one. Yeah, the safest path, by the way. What am I doing, dude? Like, I knew they were calling for help, but that did catch me a bit off guard, I'll admit. That's where Wingclip is such a lifesaver. Basically, I have no idea what he's talking about. Jesus. Let's see. Travel west and north when the road forks. The peak will be to your left. Okay, I'm stupid, so it's obviously going to be on the other side. Imagine reading quest text, but when I'm already not relying on... so that was a very scary mechanic. See, simple things like that. Let's How to Shriek calls for help, as if everything doesn't, to some extent, do that, potentially. Or like when they try to run away. But the efficiency, I guess, with which they did it was surprising. But you know what I should do is almost put it in a different... I should put it in a different spot where it's more fitting here. Like, for example, I'm not using call pet because my pet's always there. So it should be like F1 that I'm doing. Right, so we can push that further down and then it'll feel more comfortable. So instead of control 1, I'm doing F1. How long do we have? We have 24 minutes still. Wow, that was only 6 minutes. You don't have to mess around with the Venture Co stuff yet. Goblins are the ultimate peacemakers in this universe, though I always like sort of the irony of that. The only people who can get... let's see if there's a rare spawn, because we've had world record number of rare spawn kills in this run just because nobody else worries about them, because we can just... wait, so I assume it's that one then. Nobody worries about rare spawns because it's such a dead server that you get to have them all to yourself. Could be this one, could be that one, I don't know. Yeah, are we gonna have to fight like a million things? I would like to do this fish. In fact, I'll still do it. Did we get any meat just now that we could potentially give him? And I guess not. I don't know if he likes fish, but I kind of want to keep him on the meat diet for now. Or there's all these like real life contradictions to do with that. Like, are eggs technically meat or are fish technically meat? Like, they both are, but people try to talk their way, do mental gymnastics out of it. Like, well, I can be a vegetarian but still eat eggs. What's the worst arguments to do with that or to do with abortion? So this I can't do because I need some meat, or I mean I can't feed him anything. I don't like leaving him like this, but I also don't want to waste too much time. Or I could always use a butcher. Gold Road. I could use a butcher in the sense that you know, you can just buy meat, but that's still sort of a stigma for hunters that you should be able to procure it yourself. That's the whole point. So this is going to be obviously Stone Talon. Or I'm sorry, Ashenvale. Getting hungry. I don't know which of these is going to drop meat, if any. They both should, really. It's almost like you want to get the first hit and then you do it because, you know, so you're sort of marking it not for your own benefit, but for its benefit. So I assume this could be it, but I don't know. And this doesn't even seem right either. We're going to die to fall damage or something, man. Don't lose your footing. We got to have the pet go through this with us. Even on an empty stomach, we're putting him through this. Climb Mount Everest while starving. Real life hard mode challenge. Doesn't really seem right, but okay. Getting all foggy, so that means it must be something demonic. But who would have guessed with just mere plane striders? Oh shit. Burning Blade Acolyte. Okay, they don't scare me too much. What the fuck is this? Like, I've probably been here before, but look at how they just create. Oh my god, what? This is intense. They're playing like the RFC dungeon music. Yeah, just the regular plane strider action. Like, what does it have to do with anything? Why are these here? Do they keep them there as like either a distraction, like, oh, there's nothing here to see, nothing to see, just plane striders, or they keep them to keep other people out, but it doesn't really work because I don't want my buddy to starve here. Now he's going to leave my service because I unironically won't have any meat for him. Sort of a bad way to announce my presence, though. Of course, they are much lower level than me, but this place is way more epic than I was expecting. Of to fight our way through, of which there are like a million Burning Blade people here. Yeah, all these locations are so memorable and awesome. Wait, why didn't I get the dodge? Or no, I have to dodge. It's not like overpower. Do you guys not have any meat on your whole existence or what? Whatever. We'd be more likely to just get it from here, I guess. Or I could try to feed him the fish. Worst it comes to worst. So that'll be what clutches up and saves us. Is that we'll somehow... So what you can't do is you can't let them run and obviously aggro one another, because we almost just got punished by that with respect to the raptors. I always have this like default setting in my brain that like my guard is always down, and then it only comes up when something crazy happens. Even here we'll tank both, I guess. Not really a big deal because these are lower level, but it's fine. We have to mark him again. Loot during combat. That bandage maybe saved us a little bit with the raptors. Just got way too overconfident there. You might even think, oh yeah, they're under-leveled, but you know, it ends up being so overwhelming that doesn't even help you. So these guys won't drop meat either, it doesn't seem like. And I don't have all day to do this. So we're both under time pressure and just the general pressure of how epic and intense this area is. Look at how just the whole lighting changed, how the music started. Like, this is so awesome when you do it. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Whoops, it's supposed to be that. It's supposed to be like, you know, the first time you see something like that, that's pretty awesome. And I probably have seen it before, but I just didn't remember. The pet sometimes can be your worst enemy in terms of aggroing stuff like that, but like it'll just be in a position you don't expect. So I was using the stay command a lot to try to prevent that. So just the sheer number of them here would scare you quite a bit. But obviously we have the benefit of being higher leveled, which is not always going to be the case, but you know, that's not me trying to overlevel. It's me trying to just be thorough and stuff, so it'll end up catching up to us because I'm not even using rested experience, so you can't even complain. What is all this? Maybe that's just the way down. We may as well just look how many there are on the map. Like, that's enough to give you a heart attack, especially if you weren't so comfortable with doing this. Like, not because I'm a permadeath pro, of course, but with extensive experience even doing runs of this game. But no, because why did that only do 39 though compared to... Why do I feel like that's better than mine? It's not. If these guys drop meat, I'll certainly give it to... But no, just the level sort of thing gives you a comfort. This is how a hunter pulls enemies, by the way, too. But sometimes they'll just cast one thing and then they'll be satisfied. I have to save my mana a little bit more for my hunter's mark now rather than spamming wing clip. It doesn't take up much, but I like that way of doing it, though. Just the fact that you have to commit a little actual ability to attack. They're just tied together. You'll never be able to make them attack otherwise. We give a little bit of love and usage to Hunter's Mark. In before this guy's a random elite. There's a lot of things I sort of make fun of even, but they're all good because they make it so that everything feels a little bit memorable and unique. It's not just always generic enemy. So there will be some kind of rare spawn or named enemy, or maybe not. Or something will spawn as I'm doing it. Those are always the trickiest things. Like, I'll think I'm safe, nothing's gonna happen, and then some elite spawns, level 20, and just one-shots you. Or like, you're in Duskwood in that one house by the cemetery, and it's like the unseen kills you. Imagine if that ends your hardcore run, if you just don't know that's there or whatever, if you're as explorative as me. We can go ahead and do this. Now, do I have to bring it back to him within the 30 minutes too, or what? It almost makes it look like the fire is doing damage to me from that, but it's actually just from the dots. Disruption. Hopefully it's just done at that point. Destroy the demon seed, so that's it. Then you can go back whenever you want. And that was a pretty epic quest, and this location is just insane. Now we better escape here before they figure out what I'm up to and send the elites at me that I'm sure they have in abundance. We saw that one Quilboar elite too. Oh, I keep doing the control one, my bad. Fuck. Whatever, I said that a few episodes ago too. Yeah, we normally wouldn't trust this kind of meat, but I'll just have to do it. We're so short on it anyway. But there'll be something super dangerous up here because you wouldn't even have to go here normally. And see, if something like that aggroes, it's not because, oh, we're such a low level, or like they're within our level range that they normally would aggro. It's just because they're tied together. Either they're tied to a chest or something that you're causing them to trigger. Starless Foulborn, but he's friendly and they're not, so I don't get it. He's sort of in with them somehow. Of course, we would have to fish in that one. This is how we would fail the fishing challenge, by forgetting about this. Or yeah, some random enemy here will have a knockback ability and knock me off the whole fucking map back down to the ground. Like some weird thing like that would be what ultimately kills you, because there are a lot of unique abilities. I don't want to break his cover, but somehow just nobody feels like messing with him. Probably because they know he's just too... I only really want it if it's meat. Yeah, my boy doesn't eat that.
That better be good.
He is... we are friendly with undead. Don't you know that? We have admittance to the Undercity now. I just chose not to go there. That guy's a little bit slow to aggro. Finish it off. You never want the pet to attack first because you don't really want to take any damage. And it did sort of save us arguably a little bit there. But then again, I say that like, oh, you know, any other class would have died there, but any other class wouldn't have played it like that, or that you'd have other outs too, like a blink and stuff. Bleeding Planestrider. So we got to make our descent back down. We could treat one of them like they're a pet. Like, oh, the pet takes one, I take one, but it only feels right if they are doing a 2v2 as well. But then again, we're doing a 2v1 either way, but it's just more like I have to tank them both, which at a higher level that could be scary. I like how we have at least one scare every single episode too, just to make it interesting. Obviously, have yet to fail one of these, not to jinx myself, but let's see what we would possibly get from here. Oily Blackmouth, maybe. There was a pretty generous spot for those in Silverpine. So this, you're not on a timer anymore because you don't even have the item anymore. So many like seeming reagent items that I keep picking up that won't have any value because watch that bubble come up and block my view of it just as it's happening. Oh no, that's actually fine. Edible fish. Let's go ahead, take this. And how did I even get up here? So I went around that side. Now I can just go down. And I assume that'll be the end of it. These are presumably respawns, which seem to happen a little bit too fast. And so I assume you could fight your way out from this way, which arguably you shouldn't even do. You could have just gone backwards, but let's just kind of look around and make sure nobody's an elite. This could really get you in trouble. Like, imagine if you were actually the appropriate level for this. this would be insane. Or you're obviously meant to do it in a group, like the whole point of the game, but so much of it you really don't have to. Or just do it at a higher level, which I wouldn't even say this is so demanding that you should feel that way, but we are in the Barrens. I mean, this is about as low level stuff as you're gonna see here. Let's just kill every single one. They're gonna like put a debuff cap on us. Like every single one will put their own curse of agony, so that'll end up killing us. They'll be like, oh, they're all so weak individually, but they'll have each their own debuff, so it'll actually end up doing enough. Or they somehow choose to target my pet first. Yeah, our pet's the same level as I am, or very close, so that shouldn't really be an issue. Is there like a chest or something? I guess not. Yeah, this is kind of a cool epic way to fight your way down too. Okay, this might be where it aggroes like 3 things together, so I should probably wait. There's no rule against using bandages or anything in combat, even potions. You might think potions are cheese, but because they do have an internal built-in cooldown, it's not really that big of a deal because you're able to you know, you can only use one presumably for a fight, so it's fine. Whereas again, in a game like Skyrim, I would always say it's a stigma to use potions because, or I would like self-regulate and only use one if I'm going to do it, but you could just spam them the whole fight forever if you had enough of them, which is just cheese. So here is both resource management, which would still be pretty difficult to get them, and it would be pretty difficult to afford them over a long period of time, especially when you can't. I mean, I guess if you were an alchemist, herbalist alchemist, like my warrior was, I'm pretty sure, because I think that's even why I did it. I'm like, I'm a warrior, I don't have healing, so let's make our own healing, where we just guarantee that we're always going to have something. Look how the respawns just come in behind us like that. Man, this area is something else. So we explored 2 areas today that I wasn't too familiar with and that are both very cool. Or you know what, that one almost doesn't count because if I do the mongoose bite there, I don't know which one it was tied to. I could have dodged the other one and hit that, so I maybe broke my rule already. The run's over. When you're fighting 2 things at once, no, that should almost be allowed though. If you're fighting 2 things at once, that's one thing, but if you're fighting one thing back to back with another, then you shouldn't be allowed to. Why are they here though? Now this is on surface level. I thought they were using the Plain Strider bait to make you think everything is okay. But I am allowed to pick up copper and ore and stuff from here now because this is a new zone, so I actually will pick this up. I'm just gonna end up running out of space though, all things considered. This guy's survived on just 1 bit of meat so far. There is a chest here in the lowest, most unassuming spot. You would think you'd have to fight your way up there to do it. Yeah, people are totally gonna just meme on the whole fact that I'm over leveled, but it's not gonna be for every single thing, and it's not gonna be for too long either. That we could just sell, I guess, but or we'll save it for level 40 because clearly it'll still be good then. Can't believe you're a melee hunter actually going out of mana, but part of it has to do with the hunter's mark thing. This is good. We sort of earned our keep by destroying that demonic artifact. That certainly is justifiable to let us, you know, that almost feels like a waste not to pick up, but I'm never going to have a use for it. I'll just vendor it. Or presumably not even that much, really. That would be a godsend as a priest or a mage or something. 13, no use. And yeah, even this I'm barely going to have room for. Because it's not like we go back to the city very often. I mean, I'm allowed to use the Flight Master, but maybe there should be a limit. You're only allowed to use it once per episode. Whether that be like a whole trip or whether that be like one section at a time. So you'd have to like leapfrog it each time. Like this episode, I'm allowed to go from Ratchet to the Crossroads. Then next episode, I'm allowed to go. That might be too punishing, but we haven't really had that even unlocked yet in a meaningful way, so it's hard to say what. Or yeah, there'll be some book here that you can actually read, like how we were reading the ones in Brill, and we'll be doing like RP while the stuff respawns right behind us. Like if you're in Scarlet Monastery, or like that's how immersive and lore intensive some people are. They're like, oh, we're doing a raid and we want to experience all the lore. We don't want to, you know, you don't have real lives and jobs and stuff. That's what it almost turned into. That's why I, after a while, didn't enjoy raiding, or kind of just stopped doing it, was because I like how on the way up you just see plane striders, while on the way down you see nothing but burning blade. They have the right idea. Or see, we could always sleep out in a shack like this, but I wouldn't really feel safe doing that. It starts to feel like a job, like you have real life stuff to do, but it's like, oh no, sorry guys, I can't hang out today. It's raid night. Like when it gets like that, it's, you know what I mean? Like I want to do it when I feel like doing it. Otherwise, forget it. It's just not worth it that much to me. When it starts to feel like a pressure, I don't really care. Because I'm also the other way too. If I want to do it all, like if I'm doing some solo challenge, like a hard mode or permadeath or something, I can do it all day, every day if I want, or never, or, you know, whenever I feel like it. Whereas there, you have to do it on a fixed schedule. You can only do it for X amount of time because you rely on other people, and then you can never do it, you know, you can't do it extra, you can't do it less, you just have to fit in, and it's just dumb. Or there was that good machinima like World of Warcraft. They come home from work, which is like, whatever. It like puts the whole idea of raiding and stuff on its head of an adventurer. Like they're playing an office game, and I'm sure everybody's seeing it. The game they play is pretending to be office workers because, yeah, who would want to ever do that? Meanwhile, The Office is such a hit show, but it's not like it really simulates real office life. It was a copy of some oh, whoops. See, that's what can get you killed. That's why I'm such a degenerate clicker, because I'll tab target something and it'll be halfway across the room and it'll aggro like 50 things on the way. But then again, it's not like I could do that because I don't have any ranged abilities in the first place, so it could only be my pet that does that. Look at how many members of the Burning Blade are here. I didn't even know this. Like, how much do they milk this as an archetype of enemies? You see enough of them in Duratar, like this is good enough. Like, how many caves did we really see with them in there? You see them in the Valley of Trials, you see them up there, you see them here, you see them elsewhere, and now they keep it going. Like, do you see them in other areas and I just forgot? Or I guess I thought they were, I mean, see, they're associated with the old gods. Or is that, wait. They're to do with the Burning Legion in part, because obviously that's what the whole stone was about. But who is the one, what are they called? Oh, the Twilight. Oh no, I'm confusing them, like the Twilight Hand or whatever. This actually is the border of Ashenvale, so I have no desire to go there right now. Although we almost are high enough level. So that'll be a trope of every town we go to. Every town we get to, they can't wait to see us leave. We get to Razor Hill and they're like, oh, go to the crossroads. We'll get to the crossroads. They'll be like, go to Ashenvale. By the time we get to Ashenvale, they'll say, go to Fellwood by now, for God's sake. You're just way too over-leveled. So that's the game's way of telling me what chat and comments would tell me. Like, oh, you're cheesing. You're over-leveled. It makes it too easy. We can sleep in this one, actually, out in the middle of nowhere, but I don't see the point. Let's turn this guy's in just as a courtesy. That's the only quest we even have. So see, before we even get to the crossroads, there's still plenty of stuff to do. We're going to just run into some random elite. Or we'll cross paths with the Rake, which is a supposedly very good hunter pet that is in Mulgore, like a rare spawn, which I wouldn't even want. In fact, the only thing I would want now would theoretically be the... it would be the case of, what do you call it? I kind of don't like exploring it in this sort of disorganized of a way, but the Barrens is just so big, man. I can't even keep track of it. Like, we'll come back here to check this again, but in before it's some sort of Alliance guards or something. That can get you in trouble in these contested areas. Like, I don't know what's there. The architecture looks like horde stuff, but they'll bait you. That's not even him calling for help or anything. The tanking two of these could be actually pretty dangerous. Go ahead and have him attack that. I just cheated my dodge condition, or maybe I didn't. Not paying attention to which one is really doing it. Yes, the ultimate. He parries my mitigation Punisher. Damn it, look at that. Almost died, but you never want to fight stuff that is... Well, actually, that's still within the range, but you don't want to fight two... That's the rule of two I always pose. You don't want to fight two or more things at a time. You don't want to fight things two or levels higher than you. You ideally want to fight things two levels lower than you. So everything comes back to the rule of two, the philosophy of the Sith. even though it arguably doesn't make sense, but they're always planning to betray each other. Like, you know, oh, you know, how could he be training Darth Maul and also have Dooku? But I guess he's planning on one of them dying, or I forget. Or maybe he does Dooku after. Or that's everybody's favorite line to try to fanboy and defend, like, oh, a Jedi's weapon when the Emperor sees Luke's lightsaber. He's acting like, oh, he's never seen it before, or like he's not familiar with it. Then people will come up with all these weird explanations. This actually wouldn't be a bad spot to leave off, but it doesn't seem right because I got to turn this dude's quest in. Right, I've stayed twice in the Barrens, haven't I? I stayed once in that house there, and then I stayed once in the other house somewhere along the road. So see here, you should almost only be able to trade him, sell to him something that would actually be relevant. Like, one of these is actually going to turn out to be very good. 7.3, you got to always value the NPC vendor stuff, but so far I don't see anything good. Because, yeah, most of the greens we have are just going to be from random drops or from that. Okay, so this is going to be trash. Doesn't seem like the wand type, but maybe... I don't know how much I want to really stay true to that idea. I guess I don't really have to worry about it, though. I love these little random outposts and stuff, and we'll learn to appreciate them a lot more over time. Or like, I don't have to use that one today, but because we'll be in the Barrens for probably 50 episodes, these houses will really come into play. But you see how relevant that is. I could only spend so much time in the Barrens because every time I have to rest in a different place. So if I run out of houses like that, then I'm not allowed to stay there. I could always come back into the Barrens from somewhere else, but you know what I mean? I would still have to rest and then walk over. So that does sort of force even someone as slow paced as me to push things along a little bit. Okay, that's fine. 2 below you or less is good. 2 above you or more is bad. 2 things at once is bad. I always come up with these weird, like, little, I don't know what I would call them, like Spanish teacher things that either to help you remember stuff or to, I don't know, just sort of have a philosophy to follow. Trying to sneak around maybe too much where you'll try to avoid both and aggro both of them at the same time. I'm stuck between Scylla and Charybdis. Stuck between hyena and whatever those things are called. Stuck between a raptor and a hyena. What did I say that with before? I used that like in a thumbnail. Oh, stuck between a goblin and a crocolisk when I died to almost both of those that same episode. So this is the Wailing Caverns, is it not? Yes. Which I don't think there's really elites on the outside, but sometimes they can catch you off guard. You have to be careful not to accept quests that are going to be... The coal car can be a little bit dangerous too. Everything can be dangerous, but I don't treat it as that. Or this would actually be kind of a cool pet. I don't know how... So many things I don't know whether you can even do anything about or not. Nor the Heckler. Now, how much you want to bet this is going to get me in trouble? Or I don't need to fight him along with another one. Or maybe I do. Oh, shit. Well, I was asking for rare spawns and I get one. You would think it would just aggro everything in the vicinity. Like, what's going to get you killed here are the other ones. It's not him. Another one is going to aggro or he'll call them all in. Or he's just going to sit there strategically and know that it's going to aggro. Because whatever abilities they have can be insane. Like that 135. Now he'll put on a shield and do a shadow bolt out of the blue. That was such a joke. He drops 2 greens, which we can only just vendor. Oh, God. We don't have any food to give him. We could just drink that. I mean, that's worth it for a certain amount of money that you can get out of it. Why was he so easy, but some of the other ones were just... I just feel like now we're in one of those power creep moments where I got an actual decent 2-hander and stuff, and we're smooth sailing. Let's try to walk back to the main path. See how you just find them dynamically. We're playing this like an open world game. Not that I wouldn't normally do that anyway, but I certainly... I never really took this much time with it, though. I guess I was just so disgusted and offended by how everybody's speedrunning it like a total clown that... Like, yeah, there are speed runs where you're trying to get to 1 to 60 as quickly as possible, but that's not what I mean. That's just how people play it normally. Oh, you know what? It might be hard to fight our way through if you're going to go through the oasis, so maybe I shouldn't do that. That was actually a good RP moment from my Fallout 3 playthrough, where like you hear two NPCs talking about the oasis, and then they're like, oh, we got to kill him because he overheard us. We want it all to ourselves. So then we kill them. And then for the rest of the playthrough, like dozens of hours more, and it's still ongoing. Actually, I never beat it, but I always held that as like a long-term goal. Like our character's goal is to work our way up to the oasis. And we never even got there, but just, you know, it's in the back of our head like, oh, that's the end game. So everything we're doing is working towards that goal, let's say. Oh, shit. They certainly aren't shy about potentially creating situations where 2 or 3 enemies come together. So somehow we evaded the other hyenas, which goes against the hunter's rule book that, like, you should probably kill everything else first. But somehow it was like a hyena of honor, that guy, Snort the Heckler or whatever. And so, you know, he's sort of the king. So everyone else is, like, respecting his challenge to do a one-on-one. And then when we kill him, then they respect us as sort of their new alpha. What was his name again? Wait. Planestrider, Snort the Heckler. We're going too far down, but we sort of evaded the oasis, which I have first-hand borrowed knowledge that it could be dangerous because it is the outskirts of the Wailing Caverns, but that's not even really that big of a deal. Yeah, see, each of these houses is going to have major significance to us in the world. That is going to be pretty good because, yeah, this is going to go on for a long time. I didn't realize how big this zone is. And this zone probably has, like, every enemy type in the game because it's going to have, obviously, beasts, and it has the Burning Blade and demons. It's going to have the Silithid at the bottom. It's going to have the Quillbore. Like, just anything you could possibly think of. The Makura in the water, the Centaur. There'll be crocodiles because of the South Fury River. Like, it's just too much. You could turn this whole zone into just a game. The Barrens alone is bigger than, like, Shadow of Mordor or, like, whatever. Some of the maps of major games. But that's what I was even saying with Durotar. If you took as much time in Durotar and did it as thoroughly as I did, like in this particular run, that would be almost a whole game by itself. Like, that would take you as long to beat as an entire single-player, full-fledged game. And it would have been a good, adequate experience. So I almost would have wanted them to do that. Make a single-player version of WoW in all its glory as an open world game with modern mechanics like Dark Souls caliber or beyond. So it wouldn't be just this tab targeting stuff, but try to preserve the nature of the combat as well. And you might say, oh, well, just Skyrim or something. But even as much as I love Skyrim, it doesn't come close to the size of this map. Like, the entire Skyrim is like this, like just a few zones, or maybe not even. It's not even the size of Kalimdor. So as much as I, you know, wouldn't believe in just quantity over quality, I do feel like it's both. You know, you can really appreciate it. I don't even really want to discover the crossroads yet. And there's some little bit of inconsistency as far as the levels. Like, it's hard to measure. We're seeing level 17s and stuff there, I guess, because we're close to the outskirts. You wouldn't obviously go to the Thousand Needles from here. I would like to go to Mulgore at some point, but maybe it's too soon to do that. Or it's really too late to do it because we won't find much value in doing that. And then we have, obviously, Stone Talon is probably the best decision. You'd go from here to Stone Talon, then to Ashenvale, then to Thousand Needles, assuming you were so inclined to, you know, do it in some particular order. Or like you just had to stay here the whole time. It's actually more fun on Alliance to play it like an open world experience because you get more choices to choose from, especially early on. Like, for example, you know, okay, so my level 10 to 20 zones could be the Barrens, Stone Talon, and Silverpine. But then as a Alliance, the humans alone get Westfall, Duskwood, Red Ridge, then you get Loch Madan, then you get Darkshore, so you get way more. There's only one zone for Undead and Night Elf, so that's consistent, right? Darkshore compared to I didn't really say that you could sleep in these, but maybe that could be an exception later. But yeah, it's always got to be something like that. So what did we sleep in? This was the one that we slept in, I think. Or was it that? But when they're that close together, too, I shouldn't count them separately. We should almost just sleep outside the crossroads this time. You might think, oh, why not just sleep in the inn? But that's the one thing we're definitely not allowed to do because... Oh, there's nobody even here. Yeah, you know, that would be totally acceptable to do, actually. But it's arguably safer because it's super unlikely that anything would come up here and kill us compared to just being on ground level where you never know what might happen. But that's where our pet kind of stays up at night a bit to be sort of a guard watchdog for us. Yeah, why are all the guards level 40s? Because they're trying to save up their guard salary to buy a mount. That's why they don't have mounts. What is this? Is this the same one? So we basically hung out with this guy's kid. That's why he allowed us to sleep there. What is that thing? Yeah, I wouldn't like double up and overuse that. I'm pretty sure this is what I did. But maybe not. Maybe that one was closer to the road. There's going to be so many of these, it's going to be hard to even keep track of which ones I did. Yeah, this must be it. Rug and Karu. There's the kid. Come to mommy. We can be his surrogate mother. There is some sort of placeholder for that. Like when you have a pet and people get so attached to their pets. This is one girl I knew who was super obsessed with her dog. Like it was kind of annoying. Like we get that you like it, but it's like everything they do. They would treat that better than they would treat like people, like their boyfriend. They would treat their dog better than they would treat their boyfriend. Like they're throwing a birthday party for the dog while ignoring the boyfriend or whatever. It's just weird. Any sort of attachment can be weird if it's obsessive like that. But look how much rested experience we have, despite the fact that we haven't slept in a single rested zone the entire time. The only rested experience I've gotten is from just logging out and not playing, period. Like out in the open, like here. Or it's from the simple fact that we were like in town for a little bit, but that wouldn't give us much because we would only be in town for the course of the episode that we're playing. So that's like 2 hours of rested. I don't know how much that would really give you, but... We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 bars of rest. That's kind of hard to believe, but I guess it's because we haven't done much over the last few episodes. And I think I even went back to Orgrimmar again before leaving Durotar to learn whatever level 18 spells I would have had, but there really weren't any that were of interest to me, so I think I just let it be. Yeah, think about how much time we've wasted, though, with respect to the Barrens, just because these episodes have been shorter. We have, we slept there, then we went back to Orgrimmar, then we slept outside Orgrimmar. Even that was sort of breaking a rule, but we were like having a heat stroke, let's say, in RP, so that justifies it. And then we come back, and then we sleep in the... Or wait. Yeah, then we come back, and then we sleep in a thing here, after doing a bunch of stuff in Durotar. Now we come back again, and then I'll sleep in, like... I kind of wanted it to be in the crossroads, but now I don't even know. We came all this way just to show affection for this guy who gave us a pretty interesting quest. And I do need some meat. Your task is complete. You have destroyed the demon seed as Niru bid. But this is not the end. The destruction of the demon seed sent waves of power through the ether. Waves of staggering force. I felt them. And I'm sure other beings did as well. Others who will wonder why their toy was broken. But regardless of future trouble, yeah, by a level 18, that's what they're really going to be bothered by. And they won't send level 11s next time. I have something for you. Niru sent as payment, and he bid me. Thank you. +3 stamina. Is that really worth it for -30 armor? It probably is. But yeah, see, we already failed a quest because of that. Banshee. I'm no Sylvanas. What does it look like? Why is it called that? I mean, I could just eat these that we got from like the oily, icky thing. Or we can always hold the... Oh no, I can no longer do the fish holding thing because I don't have the ability to have an empty hand here. I would do that sometimes just to conserve space. But I don't even know what I want to do. I almost feel like this house would be okay. Like I'm sort of inching into the Barrens so slowly, but I don't feel like this house is really safe. I just want to explore this whole, or you know what, Ratchet could be good. Why don't we rest in Ratchet? Because that's like by the coast here, by the river. I mean, we did his demon seed quest. Let's kill a few of these beasts, and then we'd be able to get some meat to feed our guy, and then maybe we'll just explore the up and down here part. I'm gonna do this super thoroughly, actually. But yeah, like the Barrens is the whole game. Like that can literally take you a lifetime to do. Not even just getting caught up and trapped in Barrens chat the whole time. So if they drop a green, I'm a little bit confused as to what to do because we have too much linen. You could almost go back to Orgrimmar again, but I won't do that. Like I could sell a bunch of stuff. A lot of these greens I want to sell. So some of these conditions I'm not actually following even 100% faithfully, but at least the important ones I am that are actually relevant to survival or whatever. But like now I'm trying to sell stuff to vendors that, because it's kind of hard to know. I'm sort of making my own format as I'm going. You know, this one could be okay, but there'll be some sort of wandering beast here that makes it feel unsafe. Right, there's nobody even here. Guys doing some hookah in here. Head just looks on. He's not even, he's just frozen in place there. This is all the Venture Co stuff. You could get some more from this, right? We haven't done anything in the Barrens, so obviously these are all fresh mines that we haven't consumed. Because there's only one in the world teaching the value of non-renewable resources. Mines don't just grow back. Whereas as a herbalist, you arguably should be allowed to farm stuff because they would grow back. But you would just have to say you have to wait a super long time before you're allowed to count that. Not just whatever the normal respawn rate would be. What is this? Isn't this like a Venture Co camp? I don't even want to mess with it, but... like that house would be suitable. Why did I feel like that house is so unsafe? There's nothing even near it. Or we could go to Orgrimmar to get some meat from a butcher, I guess. But let's actually go to Ratchet. I think that's the right move. Or I guess I don't have to. Because one thing, okay, this series is meant to be slow-paced. But the injustice I'm doing is this. The episodes are too short. Like, I don't mind if they go at a slow rate. It's just... you have to actually run him through this. Already got a mongoose bite. There's a pretty satisfying effect, but it doesn't really do all that much. And it's not even really worth it at this stage because look how we're just tearing through stuff. It's not going to be very valuable in the long run, but... and I guess there's no rule against going in Orgrimmar. It just feels pointless because... like when you're so close, it almost feels acceptable. I'm not going out of my way to do it, but... I'm getting sort of too comfortable with the bank and whatnot. Or I could even do it next time too, just like if I rest in this house, it's right here. I'm just not going to go out of my way to do it. Because my space is such an issue. But most of the stuff I can sell, or some of it I just want to craft things. But I don't even have much room in my bank really now. The one thing I really need is meat. Okay, that's going to be only a one-hander, but it does actually more than mine. But that sets up for a great dual-wielding opportunity, too. The problem is I don't actually have any room for it. Yeah. You don't really need more than what I have here as far as the potions. As much as I hate to waste it in sacrilege, we don't really have anything to worry about when it comes to... we have the better version of the potion too, which I don't even know where it is. Wait, oh, here. We're not even having the pet help. Everything just seems to respawn a lot faster than I guess I would expect. We're getting a lot of greens too, but at least 2 of them were from the rare spawn. That is actually better than the one that I have, which is kind of hard to believe. And that allows me to conserve a certain amount of space because we can do that stupid dual wield with the fish. But you could say that's a way to keep dominion over your beast. Always carry food in your hand so it follows you faithfully in hopes that it might be able to one day eat it. Some prized possession that is way above what you normally feed them on a regular basis. 10 to 20, 7.5. 18 to 27. But see, you still want the top end to be higher but this at least justifies dual wielding, because if it's better, right, this is actual level 10 versus level 5, then I'm almost at the point where I can dual wield, so that's actually very valuable to me. I almost just want to get a meat. That's a good, sort of propellant of some of my actions, is just to, I went out to hunt during the RP only episode where I'm staying in the house the whole time in Silverpine Forest. I wasn't planning to leave, but oh wait, you have to feed the pet, so you have to leave. Like even here, I wasn't planning on going into Orgrimmar, but now I feel like I have to. So we'll go here and then we'll come out and sleep in that house, I guess, by the river, which is kind of isolated unto itself, so that's fine. Then maybe next time we can check out Ratchet and the Crossroads, or maybe I won't even still check out the Crossroads. I'll check out Ratchet. So we really left this one hanging, but I guess we earned our keep there. But the reason why they let us sleep somewhere was because we were doing this, right? And so I as much as I promised to do it, I'm really holding off on it. There's just so much to explore there. And almost like, I could explore the Venture Coast stuff, but then it doesn't feel worth it because it's not going to come into play. Like, they'll give me a quest to do it later. Then you have to come back again. So you almost shouldn't do it, but... yeah, most of the quests there shouldn't really be gray or anything. There'll be some green. And there'll be a lot of them that I can't even do. I wouldn't even mind having another pet, but I don't have enough money for it. And I think I learned all my spells up to the point that I really want them. Like, the only ones I'm missing are for other specs that I can't even use. So ironically, even though I'm choosing to do this as a melee-only hunter just in principle, just as a hard mode bonus on top of the permadeath, it's also a case where you might not be able to get all those abilities. Like, obviously, it would be better because you would get those instead of the melee one, so it would almost be the opposite. But I just mean, like, you might not be able to use every ability anyway. So some specs you'll have to undermine, period, just because you don't have the auction house or ways to get money very easily. And so the whole lesson is that I don't really remember how money wasn't as big of an issue before with the other characters. I guess maybe it was, I just didn't think about it like that. We have so much linen that almost just makes me want to... what do you call it? I don't want him to get unhappy like at any point, so we better get some meat from the butcher. In fact, I'll do that first. Let's keep him happy. There's so many like RP-esque items that I have that are just there for the sake of it, like or just reagents that I could potentially use. Like, I don't know what a light feather is going to be used for, but maybe it'll be useful for some engineering thing later. I don't know. Or even as far as engineering, we have the ability to make like the mechanical squirrel if we get it to 75. There's all these kind of weird things. So I should be able to cook stuff, and try to learn this, like just clear out stuff from my inventory, because I'm not gonna sell stuff like that if I can ever potentially use it. So it's a lot of considerations. It's the fact that I'm a loot hoarder. It's the fact that I can't destroy stuff conventionally. It's the fact that I'm saving stuff that could potentially be useful that isn't useful now. The fact that you can't get as big bags as you would really want because you can't afford them. There's a lot of factors that make this a problem. So we'll spend all our last money even... oh, but why did I do 10? Because it's going to spoil anyway. Fuck. Or I always say, like, you should have to wait when you're feeding the pet. You should have to sit down. Right, let him eat in peace, and then I'll just overfeed him a little bit. So you can't do it in the middle of combat or high-stakes situations is basically what I mean. You have to keep him happy going into it. You can feed him out in the wild. It's not like you have to be in a city or something. But you can't do it like... you just can't move around and fight stuff while doing it. We'll make that a condition too. It'd be more fun to follow all these things from the beginning, but it's really just hard to even keep track of them because I make so many as I go along. The best kind of RP is gameplay centric. Like, you're not doing stuff just arbitrarily. You're doing stuff with a sense of purpose or realism or mechanical logic. Like, everything has to have some restriction or reason behind it. You can't just do whatever you want. Everything has a cost or a toll or a drawback or a remuneration of some kind. I learned that word from Darker Than Black when I was a kid. Animes and games can teach you stuff. That's what they always call it. Like every, what are they called? Every contractor has like a power, but they have like a drawback too, where, you know, you have to do some OCD habit or something that holds you back. Greetings, salutations. I have the latest news from both continents and points beyond for your consideration, by which I mean nothing. Unavailable quest givers with a gray exclamation has held over his head has a quest you are too low level to accept. Yeah, and imagine a level 3 telling you that, like, a level 3 is judging me as an 18 and thinking that, oh, I'm not old enough to do this. Or I'm not leveled enough to do this.
What are you
18 is old enough to drink, but not to... If I lose my pet, I'll turn into an alcoholic. Yeah, you need a gold even for that second slot. So basically, it's hard for me to believe, but... A lot of the stuff I could just sell, or I don't even know what I want to do with it. Two-handed sword, 2 agility. A lot of this you could craft stuff. I don't even know. Like, anything we can stack would be of value here, first of all. Like, some of this you would think I should be able to get rid of. Like, green. Like, what value could any of these potentially have? But I'm just too lazy to do it, I guess. Okay, so let me try to see stuff I can at least sell. Or I could make more of these bombs, but they only stack up to 10, so... Like, as far as the linen value, it could be difficult. This one I want to keep. So sell that, sell that, sell that. I don't know about that. Yeah, like, why do I have that? Alchemy 50. I'm never going to learn alchemy, so, Yeah, let's maybe be a little bit more punishing here, but we have to find, like, the right vendors to do this for. Like, some of this, I guess, I got from some sort of memorable quest or something, but I shouldn't really worry about it. At least if it's a usable item, I'll keep it. Like, maybe Silverleaf will need, maybe these will use for something, but... Okay, carving knife of power. Now, would there be any reason? The problem with these is, like, you know, you never know if you're gonna one day regret, oh, I'm gonna dual wield with that and it'll be so good or something. Because you're never gonna be able to get another one back, is the point. 7.5 versus 5.9 plus 2 attack power. It is fast, but so what? Like, it's just trash. I don't even have room for it. This linen I actually do want to keep, though, because I could potentially use it to craft stuff for, okay, let's sell, or I don't like to give them patronage for the weapon shop. Where's the other one that would have, you'd have to go all the way across town. I guess I'm too lazy. We can sell stuff to them, but we don't have to buy stuff from them. Let me sell, or actually you wouldn't be able to because it's, fuck. Where is, like, the cloth vendor, leather vendor, all this kind of stuff? Or we'll just sell the meat back to that clown. This is gonna go bad on us anyway. We'll still get a bigger return here. We kind of just wasted 10 silver. Yeah, we're actually strapped when it comes to money. Hard to believe. Let's see. Where is, like, a cloth armor vendor, leather armor vendor? It would kind of give you a good justification for, you know, using all these NPCs if that was the case, like Bethesda style, where you can only sell stuff to them that would logically make sense for them to buy, that they would have some use for. So that's cloth, so it makes sense he would buy it. That's also cloth, although shouldn't that be better than mine for all? 2 agility, 2 stamina, 4 int, 3 spirit. I mean, just stat-wise, mine makes more sense, but that I don't even know what you would do with it. Had every hunter ever, just where they don't know. And we have quest items still from Silverpine, but that's just because we had to go to, like, Undercity or whatever to do that. What is something else that would make sense here that we can get rid of? We have a staff, we have a wand. This is leather, that's good. I don't know who would really want that, like a general goods guy. Cloth also, we'll get rid of that. Recipe, I'm not sure. See, this is kind of a hard condition sometimes to worry about. Let's actually go fill up our bags again. So who would sell staves and who would sell... Yeah, see, this actually gives you a good justification for it. I don't know that there even is anybody who sells staves here. I guess you could just say extrapolate and say any weapon vendor. You could break it down and turn it into an axe or something better. Because orcs are so warrior-minded anyway. So... yeah, we'll fill up our thing again. So the first bag I can't really touch too much. Or a lot of the quest items I can put in there, but... I have 1 stack of bandages, 1 stack of potions is fine. This is arguably not even necessary. There's too many things that are like hypothetically useful, but that I never actually end up getting around to use. Okay, let's look at this again. 4 slot bag doesn't really have any special use, but maybe it's worth keeping, or for sentimental value just because it's so unique. I don't know. Burnt leather bracelets we got like from fishing. But okay, so anything I want to get rid of. Yeah, I'm just not going to have room, so I guess I will get rid of some of this. Briarthorn is fine. Earthroot is fine. At least they're theoretically usable. So 5.8. Whatever. I'll keep my second best one that could be for dual wielding purposes. 2-handed, 20 to 30. 2 spirit, 2 strength. 2 agility, 2 spirit. 7.0, 18 to 27. Wait, that's actually better top end, though. That's just better, period. 2 strength, 2 stamina, 1 strength. 20 to 37.1. We could sell this, and we could sell this. And we could sell this, too, I guess. Because even if we were inclined to dual wield, we would be able to do this plus that, right? That's, or no, they're both main hand, so that doesn't even work. Which one would be one hand? One hand, 8 to 15, or 6 to 13, 5.5, 5.9. So maybe I do end up keeping the dagger, even though I was sort of sleeping on it. You keep the dagger for the offhand. You keep that. Potentially gets better than mine. And okay, these are going to be fine value-wise. This is going to be okay too, I guess. 16 to 25, 2 agility. 16 to 25. 2-hand, 2-hand. Wait, this one's a lot better. It's level 5. How is it that good? This is like from some quest items. 7.6, 7.1. I guess this is just a little bit faster, but they're both pretty good. What else? Most of this is okay. Light leather. There's a lot of random stuff that doesn't seem to have value, but yeah, let's just sell this out and then we can go back to the Barrens. Or I'll store some of this in that space because that might be as much room as I actually ever have here. Let's just do the linen. So maybe any more linen I won't really worry about too much. Handmade leather bag. I guess I can just... It feels kind of sentimentally valuable that you shouldn't let go of that. Even though this I feel the same way because it's like to do with... I don't know. It's to do with that stupid thing. Or that might actually be useful because if we spend a gold, we'll do that. But by then we'd be able to buy another 6-slot bag or something anyway. So that one I don't even want to part with, right? That's still what I'm using. So this is fine. The recipes are fine. This will have to go. So all this we would have to just find places to sell them to. Let's go to the general goods guy and he can take like the claw or something weird like this. And light feather, I'm not even sure. Light feather and mana potion we should probably put in there in the bank. That we could sell, but I don't know whether that's fair to give him or not. Like, whatever. For some reason, he'd be able to have the claw.
Speak, friend.
I mean, trade goods make sense that maybe you should be able to do that for trade purposes. Maybe there's something else you can do. No, so we just need a weapon vendor, and we need a vendor that has to do with staves, which arguably could be one and the same. But it almost shouldn't be because like cloth should be one thing, mail should be another thing. This maybe seems like a tedious condition, but it's fine because you only have to do it but so much, but you just have to manage your inventory a little bit. So store that. Completely full. I kind of got my eye on getting rid of that, but I guess I still won't do it. There's apparently not very much room for either of these. Okay, maybe I'll still keep that around. So we'll have this. We'll have this. So this all gets sold out. And we'll be building up our stuff in terms of like copper and rough stone anyway. So we'll have a stack ongoing, but maybe this is too much and this won't even be there, but you should always have a theoretical space for the food. So we'll only have 6, 12, 13, 14 spaces ever at a time here. Okay, so this will be the cloth vendor here. And then just the weapon vendor would be adequate. Trying to think, like, who would even have a vendor to do with staves or wands? I feel like there just isn't one here at all, but maybe it's like up top, or I just forget. Or it arguably could be inside of the Cleft of Shadow thing. It would be somewhere in this quarter, I guess, if there is one. All you have to do is familiarize yourself with it once. But then again, when I spent like 5 hours in here, that's not what I was really thinking about. It was more just to do with familiarizing yourself with it, period. So all 3 of these can go. I might end up regretting it later, but leather, it's something like up there or just in like a weird spot. Let's go into here first, and then we can sell it at we can sell the other weapons away. It actually should be decent. Like, look how many greens I'm just parting with. Like, it's no big deal to get greens in a run where you can either buy them only from NPC vendors, which you don't get too many and you don't get very high quality ones, or nice mohawk, or you don't have any ability to, yeah, of course, harnesses represented by a weapon. I mean, it's to do with war, I guess, but still. Bowyer, we kind of boycott that. I didn't even know that was there, actually. I mean, everybody just uses that axe icon where it starts to lose all meaning. Let's look, actually, for who would potentially have the ability to do these two. That's all I have to get rid of, then. Yeah, so much of this you might question why we are hanging on to. But see, we're going to spend our first gold. Or no, we've had a gold already. We've gotten at least over that threshold. But no, we're going to end up spending it just on another bag slot. Just for like another 6 slots in our bag for the bank. And then it's going to start to get ridiculous after that. Okay, weapon vendor will take this, this, and this, surely. Is there somebody who is going to take responsibility for, or you could even go that far as to say 2-handers, but I'm not going to do that. Like, whatever. Yeah, you could be that specific with it. Mason staves. Oh, that actually does work. Does that count as wands too?
Go forth, victory.
He's like one of those people who wouldn't know anything about the trade. Like, oh, sure, I deal in staves, but I'm not a mage, so I don't give a shit about anything. Like, you should kind of double as the wand thing. I don't really feel like there's a wand vendor, but maybe somebody here has one. Or you know where it would be is the enchanting thing. The enchanting trainer probably would make sense. Because they at least use wands as like a crafting agent too. I wasn't expecting even to go to Orgrimmar at all, but it certainly shouldn't be like an every episode thing where I do this, or I shouldn't even need to, because you'll have Ratchet, you'll have, and that even has a bank. You'll even have, you know, the crossroads. You'll have a lot of stuff going on. I should have maybe done some crafting and gotten rid of some of these recipes too. But like, what kind of stuff can I even cook? That would actually take a while to do, I guess. First aid is leveled up. That's leveled up. Mining. At least we got to the 2nd tier, so we don't have to worry about training it for a while, except for cooking, which I've barely even done. Mining is doing okay, all things considered. Engineering is doing okay. And then we're going to make our pet jealous, or they'll kind of play together. He'll be chasing around the mechanical squirrel just to sort of have fun in our downtime, right? So it'll give him somebody to keep him company, but he'll never actually be able to kill it because you don't have to worry about him eating metal. But then maybe that defeats the purpose of it sort of gives them the psychological bait of oh, it's a squirrel that I'm chasing around, but it doesn't actually give them the full satisfaction of it either. Like, nobody's here is gonna still sell wands, but
Greetings.
come on.
Strength.
Yeah, you could make it annoyingly specific, actually. I feel like maybe that should count, but honestly, a weapon vendor should count, period. You don't need to be that specific, but a wand is not the kind of weapon that...
What can I do for you?
They don't have anything that really would make you think that, but whatever. They're the type who makes it anyway. They'll just pretend like, oh, we crafted this perfectly attuned fire wand, even though we just, you know, I'm not allowed to buy stuff back either. Even though they just got it from some weary traveler and then they pass it off as their own creation. If you train under them for a while and give them all your money, you might be able to make one that fine one day too. So here is fine. I don't know what to do with the copper and the stone though, because at some point we could just craft stuff like in the Barrens and then just sell it to a vendor. So we don't even have to worry about holding on to it. That's kind of the point. There's no point holding on to like hundreds of linen and all this kind of stuff just for no reason. I would even do that now, but I don't have the patience to, so let's just do let's just go back out by the South Fury River thing, and then we get to... It is like a major shortcut if you're trying to go to the Barrens. Like, you'd have to go here, then go all the way across Duratar, then go all the way... Well, it wouldn't take that much longer, but because we have to spend so much time here, I guess it's just safer, as if we're really scared of level 10 stuff on the way through Duratar. Yeah, if we were to have lost to something, it would have been a crash, like on that one episode where I spent most of the time in Orgrimmar anyway. We've had like 3 Orgrimmar episodes so far, but only one of them was actually like a real, you know, the 5-hour odyssey into talking to every NPC in the zone, which I did do in the city. You got birds flying around here. Yeah, these cities don't really have the greatest aerial protection. Like if you were to attack them using zeppelins, or like even Stormwind is like that. Stormwind doesn't have a roof, so like what do you expect is going to happen if Deathwing comes from above? As if that would ever happen in a million years. Wink, wink. As the guy in the cheese shop even jokes about, which that's got to be top 10 flavor text in the history of gaming, because there was that sort of smug self-awareness that they probably had that as an idea. In vanilla, he says that. Oh, that, like he's saying it as some hypothetical facetious thing. Like the Stormwind royalty really caring about everyday citizens' issues, that'll happen the day that Deathwing attacks Stormwind. Like that'll happen when pigs fly. But we all know, and I didn't even play when that happened, but how great of a hardcore run would that be? Play through Cataclysm where Deathwing could randomly kill you in any zone at any time, but they'll just have some stupid add-on, I guess, to keep track of where and when that's going to happen. But wouldn't that be such a fun way to die? Just random mechanic like that. You're just minding your own business, doing everything perfectly, and then he just kills you from above in a way that you don't know or can't prevent. Can't wait till we get aspect of the pack, but we do have to be careful with it because it can certainly get you in trouble as far as getting dazed. That's one of my favorite things to do as a warrior, is just sort of punish people for doing that. So we replaced our two-hander with a one-hander, which does less top end, although not by as much, but it is doing more. The main reason behind it is just we want to keep it to dual wield with, but I think I'll actually take it away because we're doing these amazingly high 120, 140 crits just because of our top end damage. Mongoose Bite somehow seems to be worse. Like, it's doing less damage, it's critting less often. I guess we're just not doing it as much, so, because it relies so much on mitigation. Or now we'll have to get our weapon skill back up again. So this house is in a reasonably safe spot, so I don't even mind it. Let's actually see how this is going to do. We're still getting pretty good crits, though, as much as I was complaining about. You know, like, it's a little bit faster. It's better DPS, but that's not always the absolute way to measure it. Or maybe our weapon skill isn't that far behind. What is it? Two-handed axes. Axes. No, we haven't used one in a super long time. Or maybe just in a couple episodes, but still. This area almost scared me a little bit because you're meant to go the other way, like south towards the crossroads. But if you go here, there's like some level 16 hyenas, and yeah, see, they start to, I called it on the nose. They start to throw stuff at you that you're not really meant to see at this point, because now you're almost hugging up into Ashenvale and stuff. The randomly placed enemies of much higher levels or elites or rare spawns and all this kind of stuff can definitely catch you off guard. In fact, since I even name dropped this level 16 that I just knew was here instinctively, we will, even without our beast tracking on, I just have it innately in my head because I'm RPing in real life as a hunter now. So look at how much he's actually doing to me. It's kind of hard to believe. Or maybe I went into here with a little extra. We're dodging definitely a good amount. We'll end up dodging so much that it'll be up all the time. There won't even be any diminishing returns with it. But again, it's not even arguably that good. Raptor Strike will turn out to be one of the best straight up melee abilities in the whole game because it's its own individual thing. Like, it doesn't replace... Or how does it work, like, compared to Heroic Strike? Because Heroic Strike you can spam, it doesn't have a cooldown, although the cooldown here isn't too bad, but it almost is like they'll spoil you as a hunter because they know in the long run your melee abilities aren't going to be that good, or just you're not going to use melee, period, so they can make them a little bit more OP. Now we got to go back to the whole hunter... We got to go back to the whole, undead idea of trying to... This is a great way to pose him in a way that he's going to sleep. You can let him do the little hookah pipe while we take a nap, keep him entertained. And we can cancel that, but we got to make him stay. And so that's how we ended like last time. That's quite the... Oh, what? But he just teleported. He doesn't like the hookah thing, I guess. Or why is he moving? He's stayed. He stayed. Or it didn't register the stay because I did it while he was in the form, I guess. Yeah, this is a nice, peaceful place that is actually a little bit safer from the outside than I even thought. So we'll put it there, and then we'll do it again, just to be sure. He shouldn't move. Then I can sleep here. So we haven't slept on the floor since we were at the undead area. Now, the reason why you would sleep here is in case somebody comes in the middle of the night, you can poke your head up and look directly at them. If you're facing the other way, you would have to turn your head around and do a 360. We learned that from Darth Plagueis, where Palpatine kills him in his sleep. And that is almost like a self-meme moment where they were almost making fun of themselves. Because at first, he just says it like that in the movie, but then in the book or whatever, the way they explain it is super elaborate. Like, oh, he woke Darth Plagueis up, and then he was stabbing him for an extremely long period of time, and Darth Plagueis thought he was just joking. Or, like, they make it super elaborate, like where they're standing there for like 10 minutes he's trying to kill him. And he eventually does, instead of it being like a very subtle, just finish you off in your sleep, which is the whole point of that whole technique, is like, you don't do it so you can sit there with the Sith Lord for 10 minutes and try to whittle him down and have a fight while he's in bed, or he thinks he's dreaming or something. Like, it's very stupid how they explain it.